A really important conversation. I do want to start with the latter, though, because earlier today, all members of the House were briefed by leaders in the Trump administration on the U.S. operation in Venezuela that ultimately led to the capture and arrest of Nicolas Maduro. Start off the conversation, though. What can you tell us about what you learned in this briefing?
Well, first and foremost, it was a classified briefing, so I can't share with you what went on in the briefing, but I can tell you that as a 24-year military veteran watching this unfold Friday night or early Saturday morning, the first thoughts that come to my head were, is this a constitutional action? Is this a legal action? Is there a benefit to the people of the United States? Does this help protect individuals to the United States? And then is there international implications of this and a benefit globally and for national security on the global front? And in response to all of those questions, first and foremost, I felt the action was constitutional. There is precedent for this action before by both Democrat and Republican presidents. The first thing that came to my mind was the actions that President Obama took in killing Osama bin Laden, going into Pakistan. Pakistan was not aware that this was occurring. They had a mock-up of the compound, and so it was a great deal of preparation. As we know, that was a considerable military operation and very successful one. And then also further back to Operation Just Cause under President Bush, and that was there had been grand jury indictments of Noriega, and so Noriega was extracted from Panama and brought to justice in the United States. So certainly these types of actions have constitutional, have legal precedent, and the Supreme Court, in reference to Noriega, had found that the president's actions or the administration actions were legal and constitutional. So from those standpoints, I felt reassured as a person who was in the military at age 18, sworn an oath to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign, domestic. I was assured of those. As far as the benefit to individuals, as a physician, a former director of the Department of Public Health in Iowa, where substance use disorder, mental illness happens, we know that there was over 107,000 deaths from drug overdoses. So, we campaigned, as did the president, on stopping the flow of illegal drugs into the United States, especially those by cartels, which had gained tremendous influence and power in both Mexico, Central America, and South America. That we saw the effects of Trinidad de Aragua and other gang members in the United States through the open border policies of the Biden administration. So certainly, as far as the safety and security of citizens of the United States, this is something that is beneficial to them and in alignment with what we had said during the campaign. And then I think often people forget that Nicolas Maduro was working with the cartels, working with transnational organizations, criminal organizations, was an illegitimate president, had an illegitimate administration. This was not just the U.S. This is not just a Republican president. Biden had the same thoughts and had increased the bounty on for capture of Nicolas Maduro, but also most foreign nations also considered him an illegitimate president, but more importantly, he was working in concert with Iran, Russia, and China, and especially in Iran, with giving safety to Hezbollah, doing things for Middle East terrorism. And so I think people forget about those actions that went far beyond Latin America and the selling of oil. And in response to the Venezuelan people, they sold oil at a discount to their favored partners. And so being able to have Venezuela sell oil on the open market by traders so that they're getting the full price of oil, I think is something that's going to benefit the Venezuelan people. And then in concert with the Monroe Doctrine, provides us more safety and security in Latin America.
I know that you said it's classified briefing. You really can't get into specifics here, but you left feeling reassured. I'm curious because some of your colleagues, mostly Democrats, said this was unconstitutional. Republicans, too, did have questions, though, on this attack, on this military operation after it. When you left, I mean, you're with Democrats and Republicans. What was the sense? What was the tone there? Were Democrats reassured as well? What did that really look like?
I think there were Democrats in the meeting. I can just tell you my feelings that were supportive of the actions. and there were Democrats who were not. But I would remind Democrats of what happened under President Obama. We did not criticize President Obama for going into a sovereign nation, Pakistan, without the approval of Pakistan, who did not know we were going into Pakistan, to kill Osama bin Laden. Very similar actions, very similar activity, preparation far and ahead, no briefing to Congress that this was going to occur. So I would just remind them that both parties, both Republican and Democrats, have done actions such as these, and it has been upheld constitutionally for the presidents to do these actions. So I think, but I would say that for me and most Iowans, I do not want to see boots on the ground, but I have never heard the president talk about nation building in Venezuela or other countries. He's been very clear about that when he was last president, as well as coming into this presidency, that he is not interested in nation building or democracy building. But we do want to have a stable pro-Western government in Venezuela. That was the whole point of the Monroe Doctrine, is not to allow communism to be just south of the United States.
I know that you're not interested in boots on the ground in Venezuela, but it seems like there's mixed messaging when it comes to what the plans are for U.S. forces, because right after the raid was conducted, President Trump said, "We're not afraid of boots on the ground." A few days later, House Speaker Mike Johnson said, "We don't expect troops on the ground. We don't expect direct involvement in any other way beyond just coercing the new interim government to get that going." In this briefing or in your conversations with the Trump administration, the president himself, other colleagues, is there any clarity to what the plan is for U.S. forces?
Well, I can't comment on the president saying we're not afraid of boots on the ground, because I hadn't heard him say that statement. I've been asked about his comment to run the government, and to me, that's a signal. I don't take that comment literally. To me, what he's meaning is that we will help the government to provide security to Venezuela. And it's a comment more to cartels, to other transnational criminal organizations that have been working within Venezuela, and especially Russia, Iran, and China, that this is not a situation in which they need to take advantage, that we will help to provide some oversight until a legitimate government can be put in place. And we want to see that occur as expeditiously as possible. So that's the way that I take those comments. I mean, this was a brilliantly planned and executed operation with, as a surgical precision that required both tremendous intelligence, law enforcement, and military capabilities. It was, to me, a very Reagan-esque move. Peace through strength, and I would say there is signal and reverberations. I said that there will be ripple effects from this, not only throughout Latin America, but throughout the world. And I think both Russia and Iran and China were looking at this operation and surprised that the defenses that they had put in place in Venezuela were ineffective in deterring that this was going to occur. So I do think that there are repercussions and reverberations from this action, but which may in fact help us further deter any incursions in Venezuela.